Hi everyone, my name is Kristen Di Stefano, and on behalf of myself and Dr. Dan Nayant, today I will be presenting our prospective study on the impact of preconception antioxidant nutrients on men with low motile sperm concentration measured by the Yo-Home sperm test. So this is a brief overview of the structure of this presentation. And first, I'll be discussing the background and rationale. So to begin, male factor infertility is an important contributing factor to reproductive challenges, as it is estimated to account for about 30 to 50% of infertility cases. While the literature has indicated that vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants are critical for a healthy pregnancy, few prospective home-based studies exist in preclinical populations. Therefore, to explore the impact of a preconception nutrient regimen, we use the YoSperm at-home sperm test kit, which is a non-invasive way for participants to measure sperm count and motility right from home. The key metric we focused on is motile sperm concentration, or MSC, which is an important indicator of male fertility potential and reproductive success. MSC is measured in millions of sperm per milliliter, and according to the literature, is associated with increased chance of natural conception and assisted reproductive technology success with intrauterine insemination. So moving on to the objective. The aim of our study is to investigate the effect of preconception antioxidant nutrients on MSC after 3 months of supplementation in men with low baseline MSC who are trying to conceive at home. I'll now discuss our study design. So we conducted a prospective single-arm experimental study. We recruited male participants whose MSC was within the low normal range, specifically between 6 and 39 million motile sperm per milliliter, as measured using the at-home YoSperm test kit. The study duration was 3 months, during which participants took the Male Fertility Power Pack by Bird and Bee, a supplement containing vitamins, minerals, and antioxidants formulated to support sperm health. To be included, participants had to be between 18 and 50 years old and living in the US or Canada. We excluded individuals who were active smokers, those with a known cause of infertility, such as a varicocele, hormonal issues, history of testicular surgery, or prior chemotherapy, and anyone currently taking other forms of prenatal or fertility vitamins. Next, I'll discuss our methodology. So our methodology involved a 90-day course of daily antioxidant nutrient complex designed to support sperm health. Participants who had an MSC within the low normal range when taking their baseline test were prompted to the study webpage where they could fill out a contact form. The study coordinator reached out to eligible participants to obtain consent and recruit them. Once recruited, participants were given a 3-month supply of the nutrient complex and FDA-cleared Yo-Home sperm test. Participants completed monthly at-home testing with the test kit, measuring MSC at 4 time points: baseline prior to recruitment, month 1, month 2, and month 3. Each month, participants were contacted by email to conduct their test and to report any side effects or issues with compliance via a Google form. All test results were electronically recorded through the YoSperm platform and confidentially shared with the investigators for analysis. So this slide gives a closer look at the formulation of the supplement we tested. It's a multi-ingredient antioxidant and micronutrient blend designed to target several pathways relevant to sperm function and is supported by the literature. Based on the literature, coenzyme Q10 supports mitochondrial energy production and reduces oxidative stress. L-carnitine and NAC act as antioxidants, improving motility and DNA integrity. Moreover, folate and zinc support spermatogenesis and DNA synthesis, with zinc also playing a role in semen production and membrane stability. L-arginine promotes nitric oxide production to enhance circulation and antioxidant defense. Additionally, choline supports sperm membrane fluidity and maturation, while trans resveratrol provides antioxidant production and reduces DNA damage. Together, these ingredients aim to reduce oxidative stress, improve sperm motility and quality, and ultimately enhance fertility outcomes. To evaluate changes in MSC over time, we ran both paired and unpaired t-tests. The paired t-test compared each participant's own baseline values to their follow-up results, which allowed us to measure within subject change and control for individual variability. This analysis reflects how sperm quality changed for the same people over time, those of which who were compliant. We also ran unpaired t-tests, which compared the overall averages of each time point, regardless of whether participants completed all tests. This helped us assess the group-level trend and ensure that the findings were consistent, even when accounting for missing data. In this case, each time point was treated as its own independent set of data, allowing us to see if the overall average of the group changed, even if some people missed a test. We used a conventional significance threshold of p of less than 0.05. Alongside p-values, we reported Cohen's d effect sizes to highlight whether the changes were clinically meaningful. So next, I will present our results. So at baseline, we enrolled a total of 101 participants into the study. The mean baseline MSC was about 25 million per milliliter with a standard deviation of 8.4 million. This indicates that while there were some variation across individuals, most men started within a similar range. The table below shows the number of participants and average MSC at each time point. As shown, 77 men submitted a sample at month 1, 65 at month 2, and 45 at month 3. Importantly, despite some attrition over time, the group averages increased from baseline and remained elevated throughout the study period. We'll now look at how MSC changed over time with supplementation. So in table 1, we have the results of the paired t-tests, which only include men who had data at both baseline and the follow-up month. Essentially, N represents the number of participants who had conducted a test in the 2 time points being compared, meaning they were compliant. These tests demonstrate that MSC increased significantly from baseline to each month, with moderate to large effect sizes using Cohen's d. The improvements were most pronounced by month 1, increasing by 36.64%, and then sustained through months 2 and 3. Here we have the changes in MSC over the 3-month study. On the graph on the left, we have the group means at each time point, with error bars showing the standard error of the mean. At baseline, the average MSC was about 25 millions per milliliter, which increased to about 36 million at month 1, 35 million at month 2, and 37 million at month 3. All 3 time points showed significant improvement, with p-values less than 0.01. We can see the greatest increase was seen in the first month and sustained for the remainder of the study. Table 2 on the right summarizes the graph showing how across all time points, the improvement hovered around 9 to 11 million motile sperm per milliliter. We ran an unpaired t-test, which included all available data at each time point. These analyses showed significant increases from baseline to each month, with moderate to large effect sizes as well. As shown, motile sperm concentration increased by 40.76%, 38.09%, and 45.32% from baseline to months 1, 2, and 3, respectively. Therefore, regardless of missingness, the results remain significant, whether looking at complete cases or the full data set. So here we see compliance with monthly test submissions. Out of 101 participants, 77 submitted a test for month 1, 65 submitted month 2, and 45 submitted month 3. So that's a gradual decline from 76% compliance at month 1 to 45% at month 3. Although we expected a drop-off, this contextualized our findings. As such, despite reduced participation, the observed improvements in MSC remained significant. Additionally, participants were asked to self-report side effects each month through a Google form. Not all men who tested completed the survey, so these percentages are based on those who did, being 72% at month 1, 47% at month 2, and 40% at month 3. The most common side effect was bright yellow urine, which is expected from the vitamin B2 and is not harmful. This was reported by 8% of respondents by month 1, 13% at month 2, and 23% at month 3. Gastrointestinal upset was reported by fewer than 10% of participants, and sexual side effects were very rare, with one participant reporting decreased erection at 3 months. Importantly, no serious adverse events were reported, and overall the supplement was well tolerated. I will now move on to the conclusion. In conclusion, among men with low normal MSC values, the preconception antioxidant nutrient complex led to a statistically significant improvement in MSC sustained over the 3-month intervention period. This was seen both within participants and among the entire cohort. Compliance was highest in the first month and decreased over time, and there were no rare serious side effects, and the nutrient complex was well tolerated. There are a few limitations to consider. First, this was not a randomized controlled trial, so there was no control arm for comparison. Therefore, it would be helpful to control for other factors such as lifestyle changes that contribute to these changes. Second, compliance was self-reported, which introduces some uncertainty about how consistently participants actually took the supplement. Third, our outcomes were limited to MSC. We did not measure other fertility parameters such as morphology, DNA fragmentation, or pregnancy outcomes. And finally, there was high attrition over the last 3 months, with the number of participants dropping by month 3. This further ties into compliance, as participants could have been compliant in taking the supplements, but not submitted a test. We also did not control for confounding factors that may influence the supplements. Taken together, these limitations emphasize the need for larger controlled trials to validate and extend our findings. This research underscores the potential role of low-level interventions, such as antioxidant supplementation, in supporting male fertility, and the positive application of sperm to capture and monitor home-based male fertility data. Future studies should aim to enhance participant compliance and examine the effects of antioxidant use on additional markers of fertility and sperm quality. Overall, infertility continues to increase worldwide, yet access to fertility care remains limited by cost and availability. At-home sperm testing represents a practical and affordable early-stage assessment that allows individuals to monitor sperm health outside of clinical settings. Similarly, supplements offer an accessible upstream intervention that could improve parameters like motile sperm concentration, which correlates with both natural conception rates and assisted reproductive technology success. Together, these approaches highlight the potential for more equitable and proactive fertility care. While our findings are very encouraging, they also raise important questions that require further study. First, we need larger randomized controlled trials to confirm these results and rule out potential biases from observational design. Second, future work should look beyond just motile sperm concentration, and we want to evaluate additional outcomes like sperm morphology, DNA fragmentation, and most importantly, pregnancy rates and live birth outcomes to understand the true clinical impact. Finally, we need to assess long-term safety. While these supplements were generally well tolerated over 3 months, extended use studies are important to ensure there are no adverse effects with prolonged supplementation. Together, these steps will help us determine whether this intervention can become a reliable evidence-based option for improving male fertility. So I would like to thank both the Bird and Bee Company and Sperm at Medical Electronic Systems for their funding and support throughout the study. And thank you for your time and attention today.